What we found is lots of times soldiers cope with deployment very well. They're used to it, they know what to do. It's coming back. It's a reintegration that's so difficult. When you're with people who haven't been there, who think the most important thing is, what they're going to have for lunch that day, and you've been worried whether you're going to make it to lunch that day, whether you'll be alive that long, whether your buddies will be there. So the reintegration can really be very difficult. When a soldier is coming home, they don't want to be referred to mental health. They just want to get home. They are often worried about getting a job, say, with law enforcement. People worry about security clearances. And security clearances, the so-called Question 21, ask about whether you've had mental health treatment. Employment is a tremendous issue for veterans, and young Iraqi and Afghani war veterans have a higher rate of unemployment. So help them with that employment search, whether it's helping with a resume or talking to somebody or just, hiring as much as you can. And I realize that a lot of people are struggling with jobs, but employment is very important. And then just understanding that they may have some reintegration difficulties, but maintaining that helping hand is real important. And then, unfortunately, there are times when there have been crimes committed by veterans, and people worry that if they admit to being in the service at all, much less having PTSD, that they'll be labeled as being a crazy, psycho, baby killer type of thing. And certainly we saw that after Vietnam, that soldiers were stereotyped. All soldiers, all Marines, all service members are changed by going to war. Where it begins to cross the line to go from being a common cold to a bronchitis, if the symptoms persist and get in the way of you either doing your work or your relationships. So an occasional fight with a spouse as you come back over, who does what with the kids and how you do the chores, that's normal. But if you find you can't talk to your spouse, and are you sitting in the basement with a bottle of Jack Daniels and thinking about suicide, obviously that's past the point actually that you really should go and get treatment. They're often matured by that. So in many cases, the soldier has had a lot of responsibility. They might have been the mayor of a small village and have been doing very complex decision making. People think that if you're in the Army, you don't think for yourself, that you just take orders. No, that's not true. Not in today's warfare. You are making decisions all the time. And so often you are matured, but at the same time coming back to a civilian setting where people don't understand what it's like can be difficult. Where it begins to cross the line to go from being a common cold to a bronchitis, if the symptoms persist and get in the way of you either doing your work or your relationships. So an occasional fight with a spouse as you come back over, who does what with the kids and how you do the chores, that's normal. But if you find you can't talk to your spouse, and are you sitting in the basement with a bottle of Jack Daniels and thinking about suicide, obviously that's past the point actually that you really should go and get treatment. The military has been doing a lot to educate service members and the public about PTSD. On both the civilian and the military side, there's a lot of training. But training isn't enough, and public service announcements aren't enough. What's important is that soldiers see that they can go forward and get treatment and stay in their current job. And remember that everybody in the military has raised their right hand and said, I want to be there. It's hard to get into the Army now, and people who get into the Army want to be able to deploy and want to make rank. So there's a lot of motivation to cover things up. Having said that, what's really important is that people know that the earlier you get treatment, the better, and that treatment works, and that you can get it both in the military setting, but also the military has a program called Military One Source and other programs that if you don't want to seek treatment in the military, you can go quietly and with confidentiality into the civilian world and get treatment on your own.